Hey, Kinfolks, this is Denisha Wright, co-owner of Images of Ink and admin of Incredible Pressed Images Crafting, also known as Epic Facebook group. Today, we're going to bring you a tutorial on how to create this paint stroke design in Affinity Designer. So first, we're going to start by opening our paint stroke background, which you can get for free on our website at imagesofink.com. Just go to the downloads and open up the freebies. It should be there. So I'm going to go ahead and do File New. Whoops, cancel that. I'm going to do File Open. And I am going to locate my paint stroke, which I've already downloaded to my computer. Let's go ahead and grab paint stroke 3. So in that file, you will get 3 different paint stroke designs in 2 different formats. You'll have the PDF vector version, and you will also have a PNG version as well. So we're going to go ahead and open that up. I am going to resize my document. So I'm going to click off of everything on my screen. I'm going to go to Document Setup. I'm going to change my document units to inches. And then I'm going to set it to 15 by 15. Okay. Go ahead and hit anchor to page because I will resize it in just a second. So let me go ahead and grab my paint stroke. Let's go ahead and make this 12 inches. Let's make it 12 inches tall. Go ahead and center that up. Okay. Next, I'm going to pull in my image. So I'm going to go ahead and go to place. I've already removed the background from this image. So if you don't have that, you can go ahead and remove your background at remove.bg, and it'll take the background out of your picture. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let me go ahead and crop just so I can get rid of this extra space. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and size him up, put him in the middle. And now I'm going to make duplicates. So I'm going to go ahead into my layers panel. I'm going to right click on this layer, hit duplicate, right click again, duplicate it again. And I am going to spread these out so I can tell which is which. So this is my left side. I'm just going to go ahead and change the label over here. This one is the center. And that makes this one the right side. Okay. Now I do want these to be in a certain order. So I do want the one on the left to be at the very bottom of the 3. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this down in the layers panel. And then I'm going to line them up so that way they are slightly overlapping. I'm going to go ahead and grab all 3 of them. I'm going to go to my alignment tool up here. I'm going to align them vertically so that way they are the same exact height. And then I am going to space them horizontally so that way they are evenly spaced out. Okay. Now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and group them together. So Control G, or you can right click and go to group right there. All right. So there are my 3. Now I'm going to go and pull in, I saved a copy of their logo. So I had already went to the website, copied it, and then I just pasted in the logo because I want to pull in the color. So I'm going to grab all 3 and I am going to grab my color picker, hover over the color, and I'm going to fill them all with that same color. Now, to give it that effect that I want it to have, I want one of them to be darker than the other, and then one of them to be lighter, and then the one in the middle is going to stay the exact color that it is. So let me go ahead and grab the one on the right, click on my fill color, double click there, and I'm just going to move it over until it becomes darker but I still want it to be the reddish color. And then I'm going to grab the one on the left in my panel, and I'm going to make this one lighter. Okay, let me grab this one over here, see if I can get it to be a little bit darker. Oh, not black. Don't want to go all the way down to the bottom. All right, there we go. Okay. So on this one, I did change the opacity just a little bit. So I put it down to 90%. And then this one here, I'm going to do the same thing. 90. Actually, no, I'm going to leave that one at 100. I'm going to leave this one at 100, and then I'll adjust it when I put it to the back. Okay. So now I have this whole group here. So I'm going to take this whole group and I'm going to drop it inside of my stroke. So I'm going to grab it, drag it, and drop it inside. I'm just going to hover my mouse right over the words here. So now that I have that inside of this layer, this parent layer, I can move it around inside. So I'm going to line it up to where I want it. And that looks good to me right there. Okay, now I'm going to, let me turn that layer off because I don't need it anymore. I am going to grab my artistic text tool and let's go with okay. Come over here, select my font. This one is Bad Grunge. Okay, grab this knob at the top and I'm going to rotate it so that way it's on the same angle as the paint stroke. Enlarge it. Okay, and I want my font to be the school color. And then I'm going to add a stroke. So I'm going to click on the stroke layer, turn it to black, click up here, and I can increase and decrease the stroke here with the slider. And I'm going to align it to the back and then increase it a little bit. And I actually want the stroke color to be white because now I'm going to go into my effects down here, the little FX, and I'm going to add an outline. So click the outline on, the outline color is black, and then I will increase and that will put an outline around the entire word. So there we go. Now I am going to grab this text. I'm going to make a copy. So click on the text, right click. Before I do that, click on my text. I'm going to do center align. And now I'm going to right click, duplicate, drag it down here to the bottom. And I want to adjust and line it up with this stroke. So I'm going to give it a little bit more of a twist. Okay. And now I'm going to turn this and I'm going to put football. Okay. There we go. Select my move tool and shrink it down just a little bit. If you hold down, I'm on a Windows computer, so if you hold Control and scroll, it'll it'll size it proportionately. Okay, and there is our front. I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller. just because the school name is so small. One thing I forgot to note when I did my stroke is when you're on the stroke, you want to go ahead and put scale with object. So that way, when you start to adjust the sizing, it'll scale with it. So I'm going to click on this one and do the same thing. And then I also want to go into my effects. So I'm going to click there. And I want to do scale with object on this one too. That way, if I make any adjustments, they'll all change with it. All right, so there's that. So now I'm going to add a rectangle, which would be basically like our background. So I'm going to put that one all the way to the back. And I don't want to have a fill color because this will be basically my print layer later. So I'm going to turn off the stroke and I'm going to turn off the fill. But I'm going to grab all of my elements, so my words and my design, and I'm going to drop it inside of that rectangle. So I'm going to hover my mouse over the word rectangle. It's going to drop it inside. Now everything is all together. Okay, so let's center that up. And I'm going to label this one front. Okay. Then I'm going to make a duplicate. So right click, duplicate. The shortcut is Control J. And let's label this one back. So let me turn off the front layer since I'm done with that one. So now on the back, this is going to be the first name. So the text is already centered. Okay. And if I need to adjust the sizing, I can do that. So holding Control, I'm just going to scroll it in from the corner a little bit. Move it in. And then this one will be the last name. Okay. And if I want to stretch this out evenly, I can grab one of those. All right. And now I'm also going to make another text. So grab my text tool, drag it out, and I'm going to do the number 8. Okay. So first, before I do that, I'm gonna move this off to the side. I'm gonna go into the back layer and I'm gonna grab the images. And because this is the back layer, I don't want the focus to be on the image. So, because I'm gonna cover it with the number. So I'm actually gonna turn down the opacity for this one. I still want it to be there, but I don't want it to be that noticeable. So I'm gonna put it down to about 50%. I might do a little lower. Let's do 30. Okay, there we go. So it's still there, but it's not that prominent. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my 8, put it in the middle. Let's flip it. So we change out our color and let's increase the stroke just a little bit. Let's just make it 15. And then let's add an outline to that. And there you go. Now, if you want to go in and add any more of those effects, you can always do that. Again, remember when playing with the effects, you just have to kind of move the sliders around to see what type of effect it will have on your design and if that's what you're looking for. So I definitely don't want the blur. But if you wanted to add possibly like an outer glow, let's turn that one off. Set this one to hard light. And if you want to add like a little bit of a glow behind the number, you can do that. So drop down the intensity a little bit. Okay, kind of make it stand out a little. Maybe you want to give it a little beveled effect. So turn on your bevel. And you can always adjust which one you use. So we can do that. Also, you want to make sure you turn on scale with object. So whenever you are making adjustments to your sizing, those will adjust as well. So let's bring this down just a little bit. Okay. So if you like the way that those effects are applied, you can copy. So do right click, copy. And let's say, for instance, you want to apply those same effects without having to remember like which ones did I use on this one. So over here, you know, I have the outer glow, I have the outline and the bevel. You can just click on this one on the layer that you want to apply it to. Go to edit, and then you want to do paste effects. The shortcut is Alt Shift and the letter V as in Victor. So you paste that, and then it's going to give the same effect. So because this is on a white background, you can't see it. So let me turn my background to black or to a different color. And now you can see those effects have been applied to this one as well. But because it was white or clear, you couldn't really see the effects on it. So if I wanted to go in and say, I'm going to keep those same effects, but instead of my glow being white, let's go ahead and change the color of it. So change it to black. Or we can take our color picker and turn it to the school mascot colors or to the school colors. And you have that little glow, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it black. So I like the way that one came out with the black. So I'm going to Control C. I'm going to copy this one. And then I'm going to apply that same effect to this top one. There you go. Have that little shadow up there. Okay. So now we have our back layer. Let me go ahead and drop my number 8 inside of that layer since it belongs with this layer and I want it to be on the top of the picture. So I'm just going to drop that right in there. If you wanted to go back and add in the logo somewhere, you could, but for this design, I did not include the logo. So there we have our back. And then if we turn that off, and we have our front. Okay. And that is it right there. One other thing, like I mentioned in the previous video before it was deleted, if you want to change your paint stroke, you can also change the color of your paint stroke. So if you want it to be the burgundy color, you can turn it gray, whatever color you want it to be. I think the black looks nice, especially if you're going to put it onto a white shirt. This one here, I'm going to go ahead and grab it. I still have those same effects selected from the front, from the back side. So I'm just going to apply those to the front as well. So edit, paste effects. It's going to give me those same effects over here on the front. So this one was easy to do because we were able to drop our images right into our stroke layer, our paint stroke, because it was already a curve. What happens if you use one of the PNGs, which is what we also have? So let's go ahead and open up a new one. So file, open. I'm going to grab same thing, paint stroke. I'm going to grab a different one. That way you can see that it is different. So let's grab paint stroke number 2, but this time I'm going to grab the PNG. Okay, so this paint stroke is a little bit different. When it first comes in, the layer is locked. So go ahead and unlock that layer. And you can tell this one is not an SVG or it's a the PNG because it has a pixel layer. So let me just go ahead and copy. I'm just going to grab the picture image here and copy it. So right click, copy, so I don't have to do all the coloring again. And I'm going to paste it onto this page. Okay, so let's size him up. So now when I place him right there, if I try to just drop him into the layer, boom, there you go. okay? Because this one was already a pixel layer. So because it was already converted, it's already a pixel, it goes straight into that layer just how you want it, okay? The difference is, so let me pop that out really quick. And let's turn that off. The difference is because this one is already a pixel layer, you can't just adjust the colors like you would on a curve or an SVG layer, a vector layer. So you can't adjust the colors the way you want to on this one. Is going to take more steps. So we can go to the pixel persona if you want. So if you only have a PNG, a pixel layer, and you can do your fill tool. So grab your paintbrush or your paint bucket and it's selected to green. Whoops, undo that. Okay, undo that. Once you have your paint bucket, make sure you select your pixel layer. So I have my layer selected here now in the layers panel. And then when I drop it on the bucket, now we'll turn it green. If I want it to be the burgundy, it'll go to burgundy. If I want to do gray, it'll go to gray. You just have to make sure you have your layer selected over there. Now I can turn this back on, drop it inside, and there you go. Okay. So again, the paint bucket, make sure you have your layer selected, your color, your fill color is there, and then you can fill it in that way. That's one of the biggest differences between having a curve, which is a vector artwork, or having the pixel layer, which is like a rasterized object. The last option is if you were to, let's say you were to pull up an image off of Google. So let's just do paint stroke. And you found, let's just say black to make it easier. And you found an image that you like. So let's say this one here, that has a background on it. Okay, and then you copy it, save it, however you get it over here. And let's turn that one off. Paste it in there. Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna go remove the background because I don't want that. Or let me go find one that's transparent. Let's see if we can find one worth grabbing. Just grab this one. That one is not transparent, like it said. So let's just grab, let's go back to the other one that we had. Let's just copy that one. Go to remove BG to take that background off. Download that one and let's drag it into our artboard. So there we go. So now this one we have an image that we found. And if you look over here in your layers panel, at the end, it's a PNG, it says image, okay? So if I take my design and I try to drop it inside, it's dropping it inside of this whole square area. So it's not going actually inside of the paint stroke, it's going inside the square area that the paint stroke was created on. So let's go ahead and pull that out. The way to solve that is, I'm trying to move this layer panel over a little bit. Okay, is you want to right click onto your image and do rasterize. Okay, so now you have rasterized this. When you come back over here to look, I'll just change the name so it's shorter. Now you see it turned it from an image layer to a pixel layer. So now I can drop it inside again. So once it's a pixel layer, now I can drop it inside. If I want to change the color, again, grab my paint bucket and I can adjust the color that way. And then I do all of the same steps that I did before, add in my text, add in the effects that I want to add, make a backside. Everything else is going to be exactly the same. So thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, or check us out on Facebook, Incredible Pressed Images Crafting, also known as Epic. You guys have a great night, and I'll see you in the next video.